Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to
October, alo Antogbi, Niji Nyomenyoke no. National Emergency Contact Center, Kemei, Kemaji ninu afwa efiti amani bi srote ebo nshramu. No try boy. Allo number ne 311. Ye telephone network srote ano. Nia ya abu amrono. Kaimo ake. You boy. Allo numbers new ba traji 311. Ye network srote ano. National Emergency Contact Center. When you wambua me ni ehia amewa. Keja October, alo Anton B niji nyomwe nyokedwe no. National Emergency Contact Center kemaji ninu afwa efiti amani bi srote ebo nshramu. No try boy. Alo number ne 311. Ye telephone network srote ano. Nia ya abu amrono. Kaimo ake. You boy. Allo numbers new ba traji 311. Ye network srote ano. National Emergency Contact Center. When you wambua me ni ehia amewa. Keja October. Allo Anton B niji nyomwe nyokedwe no. National Emergency Contact Center kemaji ninu afwa efiti amani bi srote ebo nshramu. No try boy. Allo number ne 311. Ye telephone network srote ano. Nia ya abu amrono. Kaimo ake. You boy. Allo numbers new ba traji 311. Ye network srote ano. National Emergency Contact Center. When you wambua me ni ehia amewa.
Ago na tu kometo. Mesek bepande de veviada. Cho blada jinu ewolia pe nkeke bla evevo enelia jia. National Emergency Contact Center be ye wole klalo hena kpekpere unana ameyiwo kata chide le dukwame. Fokado de 311 le network wokatanji nenyebe ehia na kpekpere unpata alo nume koko kude alododo wana wonti le wonu tome. Eye mia pedo opia le klalo atetumi. Don kwejibe afokado de 311 le network wokatanji. National Emergency Contact Center. Alododo le ehiari.
Divine Osborne Fenu, the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Honorable Eric Nanajiman Prempe, the Deputy Director Generals of NADMO Management and Staff, the representatives and heads of security agencies in the Northern districts, the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to Battor as we present you another update on government relief efforts with regards to the spillage of the AKOSOMBO Dam. As promised, we have brought all the relevant agencies who have responsibility to ensure that beyond the spillage or controlled spillage, there is safety. Persons who are displaced receive relief, and also there is a general rehabilitation plan to make sure people are able to get back to their normal lives. Last week we brought you representatives from NADMO and VRA. A few days ago we brought you the Deputy Chief Executive of VRA in charge of operations and engineering. And this morning we have with us the Director General of NADMO to account or give us presentation on their efforts in affected districts in Volta, Eastern and Greater Accra region, and also some activities that they have undertaken with regards to providing relief for districts that are affected by floods upstream as a result of heavy rains and other climate disasters. Before I yield to the Director General, permit me to acknowledge all the media houses that are here with us in Battor and those who have picked this briefing live in Accra and in the Volta region. In Accra, You can join us live on GTV, City TV, Metro TV, Adom TV, Movement TV, Asasi Radio, ABC News GH, and streaming on Facebook at Ministry of Information. Here in the Volta region, we are live on Dela Radio in Adidome, Freedom FM Sogakope, Tosh TV Ho, GBC Volta Star Radio Ho, and Apeni Radio in Pando. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I will invite the Director General of NADMO for his presentation, and we will come back to you for the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. The Honorable Deputy Minister, the Honorable District Chief Executive, Togbio Mamao, the media, ladies and gentlemen. From the outset, let me express my sympathies to the chiefs and people of all the communities in Volta region, Eastern and Greater Accra regions, who have been adversely affected and displaced by the controlled spillage of water from the AKOSOMBO Dam, which was done because of the integrity of the dam, was threatened and posed a higher risk to lives and properties if it breaks. I would also like to extend same to chiefs and people from all communities in Savannah region, Uti region, and Bono East regions who are displaced by floods caused by heavy rains and other climate disasters. In the past few weeks, thousands of our brothers and sisters have no access to their homes or livelihoods. Let me assure you that you are not alone. The government, through our esteemed organization, NADMO, and other agencies are working around the clock to ensure that you are safe and to provide the necessary support so that you get back on your feet. As mentioned earlier, the need for the controlled spillage at the AKOSOMBO and Pond dams was due to a combination of factors, primarily driven by the heavy rains and high water inflows into the reservoirs. When it became evident that the volume of the water entering the dam was high, raising the water levels to critical points with the risk of potential structural damage to the AKOSOMBO Dam, VRA made a strategic decision to initiate control spill operations. This proactive, data-driven approach aimed to release excess water systematically, preventing catastrophic overflow and minimize the adverse impact on downstream communities whilst protecting the integrity of the AKOSOMBO and Pond dams, hereby protecting lives. In order to manage the control spillage at the AKOSOMBO and Pond dams in 2023, a series of well-coordinated actions were undertaken by VRA in collaboration with the NADMO and the potentially affected districts. Prior to the decision to spill, NADMO collaborated with the VRA to conduct a simulation of their emergency preparedness dubbed Exercise Dawohuso 2023 to help ensure that all relevant stakeholders were prepared for a flood-related event. The exercise tested the emergency response procedures and capabilities of relevant stakeholders, and lessons learned from the exercise were noted to improve coordination, preparedness, and response. The VRA's EPP has a comprehensive communications protocol to keep the public and other relevant stakeholders informed and educated about the spill and the potential risk. NADMO actively engaged with the VRA and all the 9 districts downstream the AKOSOMBO Dam to enhance community resilience through education awareness campaigns. A rapid assessment was conducted by a high-level delegation of NADMO and VRA to have the first-hand information and provide immediate assistance. The VRA, in collaboration with NADMO, launched comprehensive relief efforts, which included the distribution of essential supplies and relief items to affected communities. Furthermore, extensive community education and awareness campaigns were conducted to inform residents about safety protocols and actions they should take to minimize risk. The municipal district assemblies are actively engaged with the affected communities to facilitate their relocation to higher grounds, ensuring their safety throughout the prolonged spill operations. The combined efforts of VRA, NADMO, and various stakeholders aimed to alleviate the hardship faced by the affected communities and reinforce their resilience in the face of natural disasters. Also, a team from the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Army were deployed to help in the response and rescue operations. About 12 men were deployed with 4 aluminum boats and 2 trucks in North Tongue alone. The Ghana Navy also a 22-man team with some boats to also assist in the response efforts. The Ghana Navy patrol team were also deployed at the Sujaman and Seguakope to patrol, monitor, and also undertake any evacuation that may arise. The VRA and NADMO provided water tankers to the affected districts to aid in the potable water supply to those in safe havens and affected communities. Vehicles, buses, and pickups were provided by VRA to assist in the evacuation of the people to various safe havens and to the people who want to relocate to their families. The Ghana Health Services directed the various district health directorates to assign some health personnel to the various safe havens and some affected communities to attend to their health needs, to avert any possible outbreak of diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, skin diseases, etc. Mobile clinics were set up in all the safe havens in the affected areas. Prepositioning of relief items in North Tongue, Central Tongue, South Tongue, and Adan East. We wrote to all districts downstream to Volta Dam to intensify sensitization and education in the spillage, and also organize district disaster management committee meetings in preparations for the fallout from the spillage on the 9th September 2023. All updates on the spillage from the disaster platforms of the 9 districts downstream the Volta Dam. On the 12th September 2023, we started recording displaced persons. My good self, my 2 deputies, the Greater Accra Regional Director and Volta Regional Directors of NADMO visited some of the affected areas, especially Mepe, Adidome, and Adan. On the 14th September 2023, a team from the headquarters of National Disaster Management Organization, led by my deputy in charge of technical and the 48th Engineers Regiment of Ghana Army, moved to Mepe and other communities to support the response efforts. Relief administration started. Immediately victims were being moved to the safe havens. Rapid assessments was carried out, and issues of mobile toilets, water and sanitation, electricity, etc. were immediately dealt with by NADMO and the VRA. The National Emergency Operations Center was quickly set up at the North Tongue district to coordinate response efforts in all 8 districts where affected persons were recorded. So far, the EOC has been able to coordinate response operations, gather information from the incident scene and safe havens. The EOC plays a critical role in every phase of the emergency management, from being the hub for all coordination during an incident to facilitate directing recovery. It means resource mobilizations. It manages resource mobilizations, allocation, and distribution, including tracking. All first response agencies, fire service, the police, the ambulance service, army, almost immediately got into action of rescuing victims and moving them to safe havens and the other relatives in their communities. Poly tanks were provided to the safe havens. NADMO, VRA, and the Ghana National Fire Service deployed their tankers to provide water to all safe havens and to some communities. With the assistance of the VRA, a contractor was secured to immediately create an access road from Battor to St. Kizito in Mepe. The road is almost 5.76 kilometers. Visit to the incident scene. His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Chief of Staff, members of the interministerial and the regional ministers of Volta and Eastern regions, service commanders of the various security agencies, etc., paid visit to some of the affected communities and displaced persons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the way forward. We're looking at the continuous relief administration through the relief administration committees of all stakeholders and district disaster management committees. The contamination as the water recedes, clearing of debris, fumigation of communities, working closely with all stakeholders on how to reopen schools for academic work. And I must say, the Ministry of Education has been here, and a lot of talks are ongoing with all stakeholders to make sure the school reopening becomes a very successful one. Assessment of the structural integrity of houses and infrastructure in the affected communities. In this way, Ministry of Works and Housing and all other stakeholders are coming in to make sure we do all those assessments before people move to their homes. Sustainable livelihood assisted programs. You will recall that when the President visited the MEPE, he made mention of reconstruction and livelihood. So the interministerial committee is working towards it with other agencies so that there will be a proper assisted program for livelihood. More support from the corporate organizations, individuals, philanthropists, private sector donors are needed from all where. And we want to take this opportunity to send our appreciation to all individuals and other organizations that have supported us in response. As I mentioned earlier, other communities in some 6 regions are affected by flood resulting from heavy rains upstream and in affected communities. NADMO has since led a delegation to some respective communities in Bono East, Savannah, and Oti regions for on-ground assessment and distribution of relief items. To this end, I, on behalf of the government, delivered some relief items to the regional coordinating council to these regions and also engaged stakeholders, including chiefs in the affected regions. Let me state categorically clear here that most of the affected districts are not as a result of the VRA spillage. In fact, majority of the affected districts are not as a result of the VRA spillage, but as a result of the torrential rainfall and the overflow of the Black Volta in the northern part of the country. NADMO was able to provide relief items to other districts that were heavily flooded. These include the South and North Dai, Pando, Afajato, Keta, Ketu in the Volta region. So you could see that they are all in the Volta region, but they got flooded not as a result of the spillage of the VRA. So in the other side, we have the West Gonja, the Central Gonja, the Salaga in the Savannah regions, Karachi East, Karachi West, Karachi in Chumrum, Biakuya in Kwanta North in the Oti regions, Pru East and West, Sene East and West, Atebubu Amantin, Kintampon North, and Techiman in the Bono East regions. In conclusion, NADMO will continue to carry out its mandate as coordinating all response efforts to manage disasters, because when it strikes, it doesn't know tribe, political affiliation, or religion. So let us all unite and support our brothers and sisters who have been affected by this flooding situation as a result of the harsh realities of climate change. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you so much. That was the Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization. As you are aware, every day we have a lot of governments, institutions, agencies, and ministries presenting items, engaging communities, but by statute, NADMO has a primary responsibility when it comes to disaster management in Ghana. So after NADMO has given everything, if you keep asking where is government, NADMO is government, and they have the full support of all the members and complements of the presidency, the interministerial committee, the other agencies that have mandate to ensure that our people are safe and are back on their feet. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will pick your questions. If you have any questions for the Director General regarding government's humanitarian efforts, this is the best time to ask. We can take 5 questions and go for his responses. And if there are any follow-ups, we'll come back to you. And if you have a question, kindly mention your name and affiliation and proceed to ask your question. Okay, Armstrong, yes.
All right. My name is Joseph Armstrong. I work with Media General, TV3 to be precise. Director, humbly, I want to find out from you. So far, we are told about 20 million has been given out and 9 million has been spent so far. We have some 11 million more left. What's the plan? The people who have been affected, are we going to have some new housing projects built for them? Others have requested that they be moved to the, what's the name? The building, the housing project at Sagleme. They want to be moved to Sagleme for the time being. Is this something that government would like to consider? If not, where they are currently, there's so much chaos at Kizito. Yesterday, we reported on TV3 where when the relief items come in, no proper coordination is taking place. People struggle. People who are disabled, physically challenged people are unable to get access to some of the relief items. What are we doing going forward to ensure proper coordination of all the relief items? Thank you so much.
Okay, so Armstrong, if I got your question right, you want to know what government's rehabilitation plan is, and if there is any intention for relocation or to relocate people, and then how the distributions are made. Okay, thank you for the question. Please, if there are any hands, yes.
All right, so thank you. My name is Kingsley Atichobe. I work with OFM of the Class Media Group. I want to kindly find out how is the central government committees on this flooding situation working closely with the chiefs of the affected areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, Kingsley.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Fred Duho. I report for City News.
Okay.
My question is quite direct. NADMO, what was your budget for the year? Because from what I heard and what I saw, it seems the disaster came and the preparedness or the preparation towards it was all boiled down to funds, and that was lacking on your part. What was your budget for the year and how did you spend it?
Thank you for the question, Fred.
My name is Della Russell.
Yes, Della.
I work with Daily Graphic. DG, you gave a very lengthy arrangement on the various processes that have been in place. However, it didn't really put any data forward. Yes, we know there have been data on displaced persons, but we need disaggregated data on the number of disabled people, number of children, number of women. If you could please make those data available. And then what will be the long-term sustainability plans for these, in resettling these displaced people? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We can take one more if there are any hands up. If not, I will invite Director General for his responses.
Thank you very much. I will answer some of the questions and I'll call my deputy who is on the ground here to answer some of them. You made TV3, you made mention of 20 million and there's 9 million left and whatever. I don't know where you are getting that. Your government is spending a lot. VRA, the Ministry of Finance, is spending a lot. And we cannot talk about that here now. We have plans that when we are done with everything, we will put everything together and talk about it. So I don't know where you are getting this, your 20 million and 9 million from. In the case of what happens in Kizito, I will let my deputy, he was there, to come and answer when I'm done. And I want to assure you that there are no problems with the safe havens. We are providing them what they need, and we are managing them. These are temporary places for now. But the Kizito incident, he will come and talk to it about it. And then working with the chiefs, he also talk about it. We are working with the chiefs. In fact, if you listen to me well, we made mention of some committees we have formed together with the traditional authorities. So he will explain it to you now. And then City FM, you asked of our budget for the year. I don't think this goes beyond our budget for the year. And when there's disaster, if you can, when it comes to disaster, you can budget for 20 million today, but there can be disaster tomorrow where you have to pay 200 million. So at any time, there are emergency funds. At any time there's a disaster, we go to finance ministry and they support us. They release money for us to respond to it. So we cannot talk about budget of the year here as how you ask the question. Then in connection with the data, yes, we are on it. We are preparing the data day in and day out. We get different issues, so we are preparing. Maybe in our subsequent press briefings, we will give you some form of data. So in connection with the long-term livelihood arrangement, I did say it, that even when His Excellency the President was here, he made mention that you make sure the ministerial committee work on the long-term livelihood and reconstruction. So the interministerial committee is still working on it, and maybe in the future the committee itself will come out to tell you what plans the government have for the long term. So Seji, I want you to talk about the Kizito thing, and then the committee where the yeah, you talk about that. All right. So Deputy Minister will talk about the disagreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll start with what happened at one of the safe havens. We have gradually been able to put some arrangements in place as to how we administer our relief, both at the safe havens and in the communities where we have displaced persons staying with relatives, friends, and family. Now, at the safe havens, affected persons have been put into groups, and they have group leaders. And periodically, relief items are distributed to them. Our challenge is those who come in to make donations and don't normally come through the National EOC. Well, some people also come to do donations, but they want to go to the ground to interact with the people. Sometimes when they get there, they want to try and start distribution. When you start distribution, there's always a rush. It makes it difficult for our staff who are manning those safe havens. St. Kizito, for instance, we have 2 NADMO staffs that we have dedicated to work with the camp management team that we have set up as a way of running those safe havens. So if there have been any incident you have seen, it will be one of those incidents that distribution was done without going through the proper structure, and it will certainly not be coming from us. But we use this opportunity to urge everyone who wants to make a donation to support the people at the safe havens to go through us, because as we speak, we've been able to put together a relief administration committee that comprises of all the stakeholders in the communities. So we have the member of parliament, we have the district chief executive, we have all the traditional authorities represented on this committee. And these committees are working through the assemblymen to be able to manage our relief administration properly. We think that when the people own the process themselves, they will be able to better target their own people and deliver the relief appropriately. I also want to give some figures. As we speak, we are almost done with the registration of affected persons. And in all 8 districts that we have recorded affected persons, we have a total of 39,133 affected victims. That is what we have recorded as of yesterday. The highest of this number being in North Town, which is about a third of all displaced persons in all the 8 districts. If I recall, the questioner zeroed in on people with disability. Per the data we have, we recorded people with disability in North Town, that is 81 of them. In Central Town, 48 of them. In the other districts, okay, so we have a total of people with disability, 129. That's what we have on our records. And that also guides us in our relief administration too as well. I hope I've dealt with all the other issues. Well, the data is that we'll put out the detailed data of male, female, and children, pregnant women, and nursing mothers. That's how we collected the data, and we'll put all those out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Armstrong, on your question, first of all, let me start with the issue of rehabilitation. As we announced last week, that the whole program or plan of government is to phase our program with regards to the post-spillage action in 3 parts. First of all, embark on a mission to bring together NADMO and security agencies to rescue people who are stuck because their homes are flooded. And that is why you had the naval boats, you had the 48 Engineering Regiment, you had the Riverine Command, and the Naval Training Command assisting NADMO with naval boats to ensure that people are safe. The second phase is what we are currently doing. After we've ensured that not a single life is lost because of the spillage, we now move to looking for relief and support for all the displaced persons who are in safe havens or who are living with people, families or friends in the communities. To that end, I believe you have seen that someone like Mr. Seji literally lives in this community with you and making sure every single day provisions like water, medicines, food items, other household essentials are sent to affected persons. As the water levels drop, as the places dry up, the committee, together with NADMO and all relevant stakeholders, are working to ensure they do assessments of the properties. Because when it comes to rehabilitation, until you can touch the ground, you would not know how strong some buildings are and vice versa. The issue about relocation has been one of the issues that have been raised, but it does not appear to be the only solution in the instance. Because at the moment, we have some technical people from the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, including resource persons from the Water Resources Commission, the Water Research Institute, the Hydrological Authority, and others, who have come to pick samples and are testing those samples just to be sure that we don't have contamination which are physical, chemical, or bacteria-wise, and to ensure that the places are habitable and people can return to their homes. The tests they are conducting the tests, but the results are not out yet. If the results are out and government is advised that these places are not habitable, we need to extend the period of time that people are supposed to stay in these safe havens or relocated, of course, the best interest of the people is what we have in mind. But if the tests come and they say, okay, the places are habitable and it will be sufficient to fumigate, clean the communities, assist them with some resources so that they can rebuild what they have lost in terms of fish farms, in terms of farms, and we can rehabilitate the schools and the affected hospitals for people to go back to their normal lives. That will be done. But let us not think that it is relocation or nothing, because there are other socio-cultural and other issues and nuances we have to look at. Armstrong, if you suggest Sagleme, there are people who have their farms, they have their entire lives here. Unless you have a more extensive engagement with the communities and come to an agreement before you can think of taking decisions with regards to relocation. So at the end of the day, the best interest of the people is what we have in mind. And as we go, this is a continuous process. We keep consulting. We keep drawing in a lot of experts to advise the committee, and we look at what best we can do in the instance. Let me also remind you that one other thing on data is that the gender minister was here yesterday. She went to Mepe together with the National Household Registry and other persons who are trying to also use their system, which is LEAP. You know, they gather data for LEAP to see how best they can also activate the resources they have at the ministry to transfer some resources to people so that it can ease the burden on them as we plan for this rehabilitation that I've spoken about. And you are aware that, just as the Director General mentioned, the Ministry of Education has also been here. It is our anticipation that in our next 2 press briefings, we will bring the Ministry of Health and Ghana Health Service and other agencies who are also working on the ground to come and account to you on what has been happening in their field. But today we brought NADMO so that we can focus on the humanitarian exercise that they have been conducting. So that is what I have to say with regards to that. Unless you have any follow-up questions.
So I asked about the 20 million, and I didn't quite understand or get the answer given by the Director General that so
the VRA had announced that they have voted 20 million to support with relief efforts. So I believe that you know, every day they are distributing relief items. If that is exhausted, they will come and account to you, and that is what DG mentioned. That the process is continuous. Even if he gives you a figure now, by close of today, we are still on distribution, and they would have to get all that together and then come and account.
But assistance, NADMO cannot tell us how much they have disbursed or they've spent so far assistance right now. Not yet.
Yes. Okay, my name is Esther. I work with Metro TV. This question goes to NADMO directly. What would you say is an existing challenge in managing this disaster? I know we're still trying to come out of it, but with your experience in managing disaster, what would you say is the existing challenge? From where I stand, I think data is a huge problem, because for other people who want to help, for entities, for individuals, there seems to be scattered data. People don't know. So everybody is literally coming here, we want to help. And I don't also know how the cooperation is between NADMO and the individuals, entities that are coming to send relief. So what would you say is the existing challenge in managing the disaster?
Okay, I take that to be the last question, but okay,
yes. My follow-up question is on the safe havens. We've seen how the structures are. We see women, we've seen particularly young girls and older men and boys scattered in the same environment. What is the protection arrangement like so that girls in particular do not get exploited sexually?
Thank you so much for the question. So I will invite NADMO team back for the responses, but before then, permit me to acknowledge some dignitaries who are with us today. As you are aware, we have with us the Finance Minister and Deputy Finance Minister and a powerful delegation from the ministry who are here to interact with community members and also to make some donations. So I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Minister for Finance, Honorable Ken Oforiatta, the Deputy Minister for Finance, Honorable Abena Osei-Asare, is also here with us. We have with us the Chief Executive Officer of Volta River Authority, Mr. Emmanuel Enchidakwa. We also have with us the Deputy Chief Executive in charge of Services, Engineer Kenneth Atta. We have with us, of course, the District Chief Executive of Norton District, Honorable Divine Osborne Fenu. And your speaker today, the Director General of NADMO, Honorable Nana Ajiman Prempe, and his deputy. So on that note, I will yield to DG and his deputy for their responses and also their concluding remarks, so that we move to the second part of today's program where we receive the Finance Minister's donations.
Thank you. I'll start with the second question. That's social protection on this safe havens. As I mentioned earlier, that we have some targeted relief administration or distribution we do. As we speak, we have taken data of nursing mothers, pregnant women, and children. We have some items that are exclusively for them. Example is the dignity kits that the Interagency Working Group on Emergency of the UN supported us with. We have, is it lactogen 1 or something, and some other things that are for nursing mothers too as well. But one other thing we have noticed in some of the camps is that, especially the aged, some of them have some conditions before the incident happened. So when you go to the camps, you see that the mobile clinics are tending to such people more than the others. And the hospitals in these affected areas have been directed by the Ghana Health Service to have isolation centers to take on cases and deal with them for free. And that is also happening. The ambulance service is also on standby. Any emergency relating to any affected persons on the compound of the safe havens, they quickly move in and rush these people to the clinics or hospitals for attention. We have one particular case of St. Kizito too as well. We had an emergency, a woman in labor. So in the night, we got the ambulance service to go and get the woman to the Battor hospital. 2 hours of getting to the Battor hospital, she delivered. She's been moved, I think, back to one of the places in Kizito, and they've given her a place and a child for dealing with the issue of social protection too. The first question, I just forgot the first question. Existing challenge in managing the, yes, the biggest challenge we have had was that, you know, it is not a one-off event. It was an unfolding situation. So, NADMO, most of our responses, what we do immediately is to do search and rescue. After that, we do an assessment and start our relief administration. But this one, you have to be doing all three at the same time because it was an unfolding situation. We were rescuing people, doing evacuation, at the same time we're doing an assessment, at the same time you have to be administering relief. It is just for a few days now that we have not been involved in rescuing or evacuating people. Another very serious challenge, which I will say, even though, thanks be to the Almighty, we didn't record any death as a result of this incident. But if we are not careful moving into the future, that could happen. Is our, I would say our mindset. It was difficult for us to relate to this kind of incident. I led from the NADMU side on the simulation exercise that we collaborated with VRA on. In the course of doing the simulation exercise, we were looking at this kind of spillage as far-fetched, because history tells us that the last time that something of this nature happened at this magnitude was in 1963. I wonder how many people sitting here were born by that time. So it would have been difficult to relate that this is the extent to which the inundation will happen. The last spillage of VRA, which was in 2010, did not record this level of inundation. So when the information went out that VRA was spilling, everybody thought it's still the normal thing. It is only in our farms that nobody will move. It is until the water started coming to them in their homes that they started moving. So even though the emergency preparedness plan, which is an early warning plan, the objective of an early warning plan is for you to get out of harm's way or out of danger before the incident happens. That was the difficulty. We found it difficult to relate. I, as a disaster manager, in doing the simulation, had at the back of my mind, oh, this we might only have phase 1. We might not even get into phase 2. But we nearly got into phase 3. So, well, this is going to serve as a wake-up call for all of us to take heed to early warning system and early warning notices. The VRA has a very elaborate emergency preparedness plan where they engage even to the assemblyman before they spill. And these protocols were followed. But as I said, the challenge that this happens every year, but it might not get to this level. In wrapping up, we'll like to commend everybody who has supported us in carrying out this. Our mandates our mandate that the law places on us is to coordinate activities of all agencies, individuals, corporate organizations. And I think that to a large extent, everybody has participated and played this role for us to get to this level. Unfortunate as it is that our brothers, our sisters, our families have lost properties. We think that as a country, we have done to a large extent so well. It is not time to pat ourselves at the back yet, but realizing that we have done so well, we could do better. So we will urge everyone to take early warning systems or early warning notices very seriously. It doesn't happen only here in Ghana. Disaster management across the world, early warning is difficult. You tell people to move of harm's way, this is happening, but until they see it, they want to be men. But we don't know when it will happen. It does happen. And as a people, we must take that caution and listen to early warning systems. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seji, Director General of NADMO, Deputy Director General of NADMO. Thank you so much for making good use of this platform and engaging Ghanaians. Let me use this opportunity to once again thank all the media houses that are helping us with coverage. If you watched us on TV today or listened to us on radio, probably you joined us on one of these stations in Accra. We are live on GTV, City TV, Metro TV, Adum TV movements, and we are doing them one after the other. So please, the press, don't leave yet. Stay with us as we invite the Finance Minister to make his presentation and donation to the Director General of NADMO. I believe he will be joined by his deputy, and the District Chief Executive for Northern Districts. Thank you. Honorable Minister, please.
Minister. And then Jeff.
Keja October, alo Anton B, niji nyomwe nyoke edwe no. National Emergency Contact Center, Kemei, Kemaji, ninu afwa efiti ameni bi srote ebo nshramu. Nuwa try boy, alo number ne 311.
From individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities affected by the AKOSOMBO Dam spillage as part of relief efforts. Dial 311 on all networks if you need urgent support or have feedback on relief efforts in your community, and our teams will attend to you with dispatch. Remember, it's 311 on all networks, the National Emergency Contact Center, facilitating support in times of need. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the National Emergency Contact Center will respond to calls from individuals and communities. Effective Tuesday, 24th October 2023, the